recording to, please?
We've done that.
Oh, you are all over
Oh,
it. You're
God,
amazing.
I'm good. Thank you so much. Thanks, Justin, for being on to support me. If you need to kind of disappear a little bit, by all means. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday night Redox Talks. As always, we have an incredible story to share. And I just want to just go over a little bit of housekeeping. Look, you know, this is what I love about Zoom. You can be at home, you can be in your jammies, you can be eating your dinner. So if you are wanting to eat, by all means eat. Just turn off your video. We might get a little bit envious if we're watching you eat. And also if you're moving around, if you could turn off your video as well, just so it's not distracting to us all. Thank you so much. That's awesome. So hello, my name is Janene Babauskis, and tonight is all about sharing a breakthrough that can change your life. And we're going to be talking about redox signaling molecules and the difference these healing signaling molecules that underpin the health and repair of our cells have made in the life of our guest. So a company by the name of ASEA has brought to market the only 3 redox signaling products on the planet. So there's only one company on the planet that has redox signaling molecules, and we have a liquid redox supplement and an outside-in application of a gel and also a serum. And I am truly grateful that Cheryl Penrose reached out to me 5 years ago and invited me to have a look at this breakthrough technology. And because of that, it has changed my life. 5 years ago, I found myself in a foreign place. I had some health challenges. I felt lost and without purpose. I was pretty low in energy, and my financial well-being was really, really challenged. And I started on the redox gel, and within 2 to 6 weeks, all of my health challenges and low energy resolved. And 4 months later, my financial well-being was on track. And it just occurs to me that everybody needs to know about this science breakthrough. Now, tonight we have a special guest. Justin, I might just need you, if you're on, can you mute? I think we've got somebody unmuted.
Yep, done.
Thank you. So tonight we have a special guest with us who will be sharing her redox experience. But before we get started, I invite you to think about the following questions. Do you have a health challenge, or perhaps you know of someone with a health challenge that needs help? I think all of us know people that, you know, are struggling in some way or another with their well-being. Would you like to reduce the visible signs of aging? I'm sure everybody wants to look younger and feel younger. They both go hand in hand. Why not? Do you want more energy to do what you love, so you're not just heading for the couch when you get home at night? Are you looking for improved athletic or physical performance? And maybe you want time or money freedom for a better lifestyle. Now, to really live life well, we have 2 basic needs. We need a body that can do whatever we ask it to do, and enough money for the freedom to make those choices in life. Now, to have that body or well-being you want, you might be exercising, you might have changed or modified your diet, or be taking nutritionals. You might be doing everything you can think of, or you might not be doing anything at all. But frustratingly, no matter what you do, as you age, your cells respond less and less effectively to all of these strategies. Your cells naturally begin to break down, producing less energy, taking longer to repair, and look, sometimes not repairing at all. And that's what I was being faced with at the age of 60. But what if your cells were more efficient? Your exercise, your nutritional and your supplementation and everything else you did could be more effective. You could be healthier longer and with less effort. How would that be? Sounds pretty good. So several years ago, scientists made a groundbreaking discovery. They identified molecules that your body produces inside every cell, every nanosecond of every day, that helps our cells repair and regenerate. Now, once discovered, there was years of research and development went into figuring out how to stabilize these molecules outside of the body so that they could be used to top up your redox levels, which deplete through the decades. The result is a molecular technology that helps your cells function better. And when your cells function better, everything works better. So any steps you're taking to improve your health become more effective. Nutritional supplementation works better. You feel better, you look better, you sleep better, and you have more energy. So now let's hear from our special guest tonight. We have Ruth Prinsloo with us. And just let me tell you where Ruth is. She's in Den Bosch, which is about an hour by train south of Amsterdam, or close to the Belgian border. So she's coming to us from a long way live to share her redox experience. So I'm absolutely thrilled to have you with us tonight, Ruth. Yeah, you're unmuted. Here you go. Margot Ryler introduced me to Ruth, and it's been, you know, look, it's been a joy to get to know you, because I'm experiencing you as you are now, but it was heartbreaking to hear your story. So prior to being introduced to a seer, Ruth, tell us what was going on for you.
The health situation I was in was a long time coming. I had severe postnatal depression after the birth of my first child in 2004.
Yep.
And the inability to sleep started then also. I was sleep deprived for about 15 years. And then after he was born, about 18 months, I did not sleep more than 3 hours in 24. So my body never fully recovered from the birth and the aftermath. My second child was born in 2006. And shortly after that, I began to have severe bouts of abdominal pain. The doctors said it was gas. And as the attacks became more and more frequent, I was sent for several tests.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2012, there was a discovery made that there was a cluster of unusual cells in my pancreas. And they were not life-threatening at that point. They were causing severe discomfort. The attacks would last sometimes up to 10 hours. And it felt like I was giving birth. The pain was off the charts. I was exhausted, I was confused, I was angry a lot of the time. I didn't go anywhere, I didn't travel at all, only short distances in a car. And I had to make sure there was always a toilet available, and I always had to have food nearby. So staying home was just simply the best option and the safest.
Absolutely. There'd be no joy at all for you to be going out socializing or doing anything for that matter. So it took 6 years to actually get a diagnosis for this incredible discomfort you're experiencing. So once you got that diagnosis, what did they recommend? What was the solution?
It was recommended that the cells be removed, and then, in inverted commas, they said I would just have a blood sugar issue as a result of removing that organ which controls insulin.
Yes.
And the surgeon described an absolute nightmare procedure, and he asked if I agreed, and I said no. And I left, and I walked around for another 2 years with that thing inside me. I was hospitalized regularly for 5 to 10 days at a time, and I was in constant pain. I had maximum doses of morphine 8 times in 1 year, and I spent about a total of 3 months in hospital altogether, and I lost 25% of my body weight. So I was skin and bone.
Yeah. So, and then it got all too much for you, right? In October 2014, you agreed to have this horrendous 8-hour surgery. So tell us about that.
It went very well. There were no complications. I had a brilliant surgeon, luckily. He removed 3 of my organs. And in that particular one, the one which controls insulin, they found rogue cells. So it was taken out just in time. And the adjustment to this new life, minus that organ, has been a living hell, really.
So tell us a bit about the consequences of living with pieces missing from your body.
I have now blood sugar issue type 3.
Yeah.
There's type 1 and type 2 are well known. Type 3 is almost unknown.
Yes.
I had no energy. I could not concentrate for more than about 10 minutes at a time. And when I concentrated, my blood sugar would plummet and I would start to shake uncontrollably. I could never leave the house without something to eat. As when it plummets, I literally have a minute or two before I become so disoriented that I can't even remember my name. And I had digestive issues. Everything that I love to do, read, play the piano, travel, write, anything that requires concentration was all but lost to me. And it is incredible to realize just how much blood sugar you need to concentrate. I had to think for my body all day and every day. And the stress of the family on top of all that almost cost me my marriage as well.
Absolutely. So, gosh, you know, not only could you not do the things you love, like I imagine the so-called joy of being a mum, that was robbed as well. You were robbed of that too. So it would have been just a nightmare trying to deal with babies and toddlers and small children and a marriage.
Yeah.
And yeah, seriously, it's an incredibly heartbreaking picture of what your life was like. So now tell us about how ASEA came into your life.
I have a particularly insistent friend who lives in Poland. I knew him from university.
Yeah.
His name is Peter, and he first introduced me to this to ASEA molecules in July of 2018. And he pestered and pestered, and I could not actually afford it. But in September 2018, I decided to try it just to get him to stop.
Just stop, just to get him to stop. And hey, listen, there's a really important, Ruth, there's a really important message in this. You know, for those of you on the call with us, if you know someone who's suffering, do not give up on them, because it's through the pestering of her dear friend that we're now going to hear Ruth's next part of her story. Tell us about it, Ruth.
After 4 years, I didn't have any hope that things would change anymore. ASEA can't grow new organs, and all the rest at this stage just felt like bad window dressing, like plasters on an amputation. But I was in for a surprise.
Yeah.
I started on 60 milliliters in the morning and afternoon. Is there somebody else?
No.
Sorry, I've muted that. My apologies.
Thank you. Yep, thank you.
I started on 60 milliliters morning and afternoon, and the first change I noticed was within 2 days.
Yep.
I actually started sleeping again for the first time in years.
Yes.
And my sleep is now deep, and when I dream, it is absolutely vivid. I can remember the dialogue of my dreams the next day. I don't have nightmares, and I fall asleep within minutes, and I don't have to use earplugs anymore. My stomach settled into a manageable rhythm. I used to have to know where the toilets were everywhere that I went.
Yep.
Now I have no more all-day cramps and needing to leave home with a toilet map. I had constant discomfort in my left hip and leg and under my feet, and that's gone. Also, I had numbness in my right hand, in the thumb and the first 2 fingers. We don't know what caused it, but all feeling has come back.
Did that have an impact on you as far as what you could do with your hands?
Well, yeah, because I can't feel a pen in my hand properly.
Yep.
I can't feel the implement that I'm holding. Yeah. So yes, it did. My body's absorbing the fat in my diet. For 4 years after that organ was taken out, that organ is also the one that breaks down fat. And
yes.
I don't have it anymore. So for 4 years, fat was just passing straight through my system in spite of the medication.
Yep.
And now with the ASEA, it goes where it's supposed to go. It stays in. It gets broken down and it stays.
You're absorbing the fats now.
Yes. my brain fog is completely gone. I can actually think clearly for the first time in years. Prior to ASEA, because I had no energy, I was very clumsy, and I was constantly bumping into things and bruising quite badly. But the other day, I walked into a bedpost that would normally leave a big purple welt that takes a week to disappear. But this time, there wasn't even the beginnings of a bruise.
Right.
The depression has lifted to a great extent. I'm still on medication, and I will cut back very slowly on that. I noticed that emotionally laden things still knock me over, but I bounce back a lot faster than before.
Your recovery is good. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to have mouth ulcers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In the last year, I've had two. Before that, I would get them, in the whole year. Before that, I would get them maybe once a week. There was always an ulcer somewhere, either clearing up or starting.
Yep.
But now I am pretty much ulcer-free for the most part, and my teeth and gums are in excellent condition. My hair fell out so badly after the operation.
Yeah.
It used to be thick and heavy, and it's finally starting to grow back. It's a lot thicker than 5 years ago, and it's growing faster as well.
Yes.
And now I can travel to see friends and family, and I went abroad for 5 weeks this summer. I went on safari with my children.
Awesome.
I went to dinner parties with friends. I did normal social activities. And the other aspect I've noticed is that I have the strength to set boundaries. I mean, I'm not what I was before, but I can do all these things again within limits.
Yes.
And I can set the boundaries and make sure that the needs around my health are met. Whereas in the past, I let others just dictate with a big cost to me. And I am now more assertive and responsible, and I let go of what others think. It doesn't bother me anymore. I mean, so almost nobody has heard of this type 3, so they don't know what it is.
No.
And I don't look sick.
Yeah.
But it's a huge reality.
Yes.
So I've been able to let go of others not understanding what I'm talking about. And I have been able to take my power back to a great extent.
Yeah, that's exactly how it sounds to me. Like you've actually taken your power back, and you know what you need to do to have your health work and your day-to-day life and more work. And yeah, for you, you're just being responsible for having those needs met. Yeah. It's incredible, and all of that really just in a few months on 60 mils morning and night. That's an incredible outcome with the redox. So as an experience, what has been the best thing for you? Like, because now, before you couldn't do so many things. Your life was really, you were living in the 4 walls of your house, and with all of those other challenges you've just shared with us. So as far as an experience now, what would you say has been the best thing?
I'm much better at coping with my children.
Yeah.
They're teenagers now, and I'm coping with them without losing it.
Yes.
After the operation, I would fly into a panic several times a day. And there was so much new stuff to deal with. And the bottom had literally fallen out of my world. Yeah. And the smallest thing would rattle me completely. I mean, I couldn't even make a cup of tea and have a conversation with somebody at the same time.
Yeah.
Now I have significantly more ability to just function normally.
Yes.
A very, very nice bonus is that for the first time in my life, my skin is practically flawless. This was an unexpected.
Yeah.
It was an unexpected benefit, as it's always been. I've always experienced it as a sore point. It's really unfair that every time I eat a piece of chocolate, I pay for the spot.
Pay the price. Yeah.
No more.
You can eat chocolate now and not pay the price. That's amazing.
It's small, but it's big.
Of course.
I doubled. And another very interesting thing is in March this year, my father passed away.
Mm-hmm.
On the day that he died, I doubled my ASEA liquid intake. And 3 days later, I flew to Johannesburg for his funeral. And while I was there, I experienced sound sleep every night.
Yes.
So I could escape the grief. And that was something I honestly did not expect. It was such a relief, because it made an enormous difference in being able to manage the grief during the day, that
Yes.
I could actually sleep at night. I'm still living with tiredness. I sleep for 1 or 2 hours every afternoon, but I'm able to concentrate much longer, to read and do my fine art drawings and writing and sewing. I'm outdoors a lot doing nature photography.
Yes.
And that also requires a lot of energy. So these are things that bring me joy.
Yes.
And with all of this and the huge difference in sleep quality and mental calm, I look forward to things again. I actually think when somebody suggests something, I go, ooh, yippee, you know.
Exactly.
Whereas before, I would have said, no, I can't, sorry.
So there's
the benefits of, sorry?
I was going to say, there's joy back in your life.
Yes,
joy.
yes.
Yeah.
And the benefit of the ASEA is in the unexpected details. That's what I found.
Yeah.
When I started taking it, I had, these big hopes. I hoped for A and B. But instead, I got W, X, Y, and Z. And this is the thing. The blood sugar issues are a given, and they won't change.
Yep.
But without all those extra health challenges,
Yep.
I'm able to carry the blood sugar issue much better.
Yes.
And I really look forward to what ASEA will bring, whatever that surprise may be next. I have no idea, but I'm waiting.
No, there's lots of people share surprises, and I think if we don't write them down, we actually forget all the things that, have changed since we've added in the molecules. But I just want to clarify for everybody on the call that the amount of ASEA you consume daily now. Just clarify that for us, Ruth.
I have 60 milliliters twice a day. So when I wake up in the morning, I have 60 mils. Yep. And then I wait for a quarter of an hour, and then I have breakfast. And then in the afternoon, after I've woken up from that nap, I take another 60 mils. So it's in total 120 mils a day. Yep. And I take more when life is more stressful, because I sometimes manage to build up a little surplus. So I have an extra bottle in the house for when things go, pear-shaped. My finances stop me from taking more ASEA at this point in my life, but that's just the way it is. As an added little boost, which was really nice, is last week my child cut his finger really badly with a pocket knife. He sliced it in diagonally, so it was quite a serious cut. We sprayed ASEA on it 3 times, and the wound closed within about 2 hours. And he wasn't in any pain. He had no discomforts or swelling, and it wasn't even red. Yeah, it didn't even go red. It didn't even have that inflamed look. His finger healed so fast, he had no painkillers and no stitches were necessary. And another unexpected bonus showed itself over the last year. I flew from Amsterdam to Johannesburg and back 3 times. That's a flight is 11 hours.
Yep.
One way, and usually my ankles would swell up and they would stay swollen for about a week afterwards.
Yep.
But these last 3 times, I took Renew 28 in my hand luggage, and I also took several small bottles of the liquid. If you take 100 mils or less in a bottle, you can get quite a few of those small bottles through security with no problems.
Yes.
And I drank the liquid several times during the flight. And I used the gel on my lower legs. And on arrival, my ankles were a little bit puffy. But the next day, there was no sign of swelling. You couldn't even tell that I'd been on a plane.
No. Oh, that's amazing. Wearing shoes.
Yes, because when you have puffy legs, then you need to wear sandals and skirts. It's not nice.
No. But I mean, look, it's so exciting when we see these measurable things that tell us that our body is functioning like it did when we were younger. because probably when we were younger, we could fly and we wouldn't get swollen ankles. So yeah, you truly do experience and see the redox turning back the clock. It's an incredible story. And I know there's a lot of detail to it, and I know, you know, you want to acknowledge some people, so I'm going to hand it back to you.
I also use the gel.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about the gel, because you love the gel, don't you?
I do, yeah. I started getting that as well when I had a little bit of a financial bonus. I got 2 tubes of the gel. I use it very sparingly because it's like gold to me.
Yes.
And I use it on anything external, cuts and grazes and burns and insect bites. And in my photography, I get a lot of bramble thorn, these blackberry thorns that have the little hook on, and then they stick.
Yeah.
They stick and they fester, and they can be really, really painful. But I use it on those, and the thorns come out much more easily, and they don't swell up and they don't fester. So that's really, really nice. Really.
And you wouldn't get the scarring as well.
No, I take it in my bag always. It's right there next to my camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I would like to say thank you, absolutely heartfelt thank you to Peter Vestra in Warsaw.
Yes.
I was annoyed with him. He wouldn't leave me alone. But I'm so glad that
I don't even know if he's on tonight's call, but we'll definitely make sure he's tagged in this. Yes, he wouldn't leave you alone, and thank goodness.
And then he put me in contact with Margot Ryler, who helped me through the first phases, how to do it and what to expect and what changes to make and so on. And I publicly want to acknowledge now that I didn't believe you then.
Yes.
Now I do. Now I do. So.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, and 3 cheers for these wonderful people who stood for you and for this incredible technology that our founders made possible for us to have access to these incredible molecules. So I'm just going to read a disclaimer right now. It's important to acknowledge that ASEA products are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any condition. They simply empower cellular communication and cellular function and healing. So I'm just going to, let me have a look here, get back to here. Ruth, thank you so much for your commitment to sharing your story and for working with me and time zones and things like that. It's because of your courage and your commitment to share. This really helps other people to be able to reach out to others. There's a lot in your story. I love the fact that, you know, your transformation came about because a friend stood for you and kept pestering you. And it's really important people hear that as well. And Margot and I are just so grateful, and the whole Shine Bright team, that you're with us, which is tonight for us and the morning for you. And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to stop the recording, and then I'm just going to see if there's anybody who would like to ask you a quick question before we go on to our training. Is that okay, Ruth?
That's fine. Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. All right, just stop. So for those of you who are on live stream, good night. We'll stop that one, and we'll just stop the recording. Oh wow, there's just so much. Do you want to stop recording to the